Hello, we hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another League of Legends news episode. We hope you guys all enjoy. Of course, a couple days late with this one, and that does mean the World Pick'em Challenge. Of course, only about 10 hours left by the time this video does go live, but I want to give you guys my picks, and I want to preface as well, we've learned a lot throughout the World stages so far, that being the play-in stages, although probably not the best for those teams involved so far. And again, these are my opinions. Over the course of watching a couple splits over here, I'm going to give you guys my opinions, and again, with the best of one round-robin format, 2 times round-robin format, anything can happen. I think that definitely benefits a lot of the not so better teams in these groups, and so expect some upsets, and I definitely hope for some. I'm also a North American fanboy, so my bias does take place, but if you guys did watch the play-in stages as well, they went to exactly as planned, exactly as predicted. All number 1 seed teams did go through. I think EDG looked very impressive against Detonation, but they were supposed to. And on the other hand, at the flip side of things, Cloud9 did go through, but I would say just barely against Gambit. That did go all the way to map 5, and a team who I think looked very struggling. We'll talk about that in a second here. That definitely does come into play for my pick'ems here. A team that I wanted to actually pick forward, but I couldn't after the of course the results with Gambit. Let's break it down though, group by group, of course, for all of you. That being Group A, number 1 on screen. I think by far and away probably a favorite team here, and definitely the best team in the group, that being a Freak of Freaks. Second in LCK, 2 KT Rolster, who I also chose to go through. They split series with a KT, they split series with Gen G. I just think by far and away the best team here, and definitely a dominant force. I also took G2. That might be a surprise to some of you guys. Of course, I think Flash Wolves coming out of LMS undefeated. It kind of weighs in on both sides of things. Of course, being undefeated, you think, wow, an amazing team. Other side of things, though, you might think, wow, a weak region. I go with the latter of the two. I think G2, with their wide diversity on that roster, especially through play-in stages, we saw several MVPs of that team come out and play. So it was Perks, it was Wonder, it was Yankos even on top of that. So I think you really can't, when you can't choose the best player for a team, and especially with how they played in group stages, I think that's what you need. A lot of teams out there relying on just 1 or 2 characters. I think G2 have wide diversity. When it comes to best of ones, upsets can happen, and I think a slight upset for G2 over Flash Wolves. They go 1-2, Flash Wolves goes 3, and I think, unfortunately enough, Phong Vu out of Vietnam is a huge underdog here. No one can doubt that. They have probably the best name, Bulldogs, in the entire tournament so far, but I just can't pick them through. Huge underdogs, and that will be my Group A. So also Group B, I think arguably Group B and C are probably, I mean, there are so many groups of death you could see for many teams out there. This one is probably, in my own opinion, one of the more solidified groups for a 4th place team being Cloud9. I mean that in the nicest way possible. I think going into this, I had them as a potential team to make it out of this. Of course, again, like I said before, best of ones, they do favor teams like Cloud9 who can take down teams like Liquid, the best of NA and best of ones, but then again, these are not Liquid. We have not seen Liquid play at Worlds yet, so we're not going to see how to compare these talents. And again, it really comes to an out-of-scene perspective when you try and compare LMS to the VMS to LCK to LPL to North America and Europe. It's just so hard. Every year something's different going to happen, and I think this time around with Cloud9's best of 5 against Gambit, you have to consider that Vitality, Gen G, RNG are much better talent than Gambit. Although it's best of ones, not a best of 5, I'm going to pick Cloud9 last tier, followed by Vitality in 3rd, and I have to pick my favorite team so far. I think my favorite personal team to win it all is going to be RNG. A great run so far for them, especially through the regional qualifiers. I picked them first and Gen G second. Again, a lot of these teams have actually split series in the past year between each other, but I think that's going to be an easier group for 1-2 going, and it will be RNG first. Again, my favorite team so far, followed by Gen G, and then Vitality and Cloud9. And also, I really want to clarify, I think Vitality, a team I really cheered for out of EU, has great best of 1 potential, especially against a team like G2. I mean, because I did, we'll discuss here in a second, I did pick G2 because of their best of 1 potential, but Vitality's best of 1 potential, I have to pick Gen G over a G2 when it comes to a comparison. But moving on to Group C as well, a group that I think is definitely unfortunate for Mad Team. This is my first group of death thought, was definitely this Group C. I'm going to pick Mad in last. I'm going to pick, though, a little bit of an upset. I think, especially after the play-in stage, especially with the regional qualifiers as well, Edward, I think, in my own opinion, is an overrated team. Now, again, you never know what's going to happen, but I think of any teams out there as well, then to kind of also go with that point, or maybe go against my own point, I think Liquid definitely a better best of 5 or best of 3 team than a best of 1 team, but I give them a slight upset because of one reason. I'm a North American fan. I think Edward Gaming is probably maybe a bit of an overrated team here for a team that many people expect to do very well. I think maybe overrated compared to other teams out there. I'll go Liquid over Edward Gaming, and then I think KT Rolster by far and away, of course, arguably another pick for the best team here at Worlds, alongside Afrika, alongside RNG. I think KT Rolster take it away. I think Liquid with a slight upset, and I choose them because I'm a North American fan, so don't get mad at me, guys. That's the only reason I chose that. But now on to Group D, the very last group. I would not call it a group of death, but I think it's a very solidified group. I think it's going to be very handily either Fnatic and Invictus Gaming going through 1-2. Whether they flip-flop that, it might be. I'm a Fnatic fan, though. I think now with a more finalized roster, I take Fnatic going in that #1 spot. Invictus, of course, their strong run throughout the regional qualifiers as well, looking just insanely dominant despite a loss as well, but still, and looking very, very strong, and losing to a team like RNG, you can't take that away from them. It did go map 5 as well, so I'm going to take them 1-2, and I will pick, again, when it comes to best of 1 potential, I would have said the first split, I would have said, but not so much summer split for 100 Thieves. When it comes to best of 1 potential, it does favor these weaker teams. I just can't see it with G-Rex and 100 Thieves. Again, I know I've said it too many times before, the best of 1 double round robin. I just cannot see a team like 100 Thieves, who has very, very little world experience, guys, brand new to the stage, and a team like G-Rex, 2 teams who really rely on one character to kind of carry that team through. G-Rex was stitched through the play-in stage, had the highest kills of anyone, so I think if he falls off, the entire team falls off. And then I think 100 Thieves was someday, maybe an Afro. They really kind of lead that team, and if they go in the wrong direction, the team goes with them. Again, I'm a North American fan. I'd love to see Cloud9, 100 Thieves, or Liquid go through. I did pick Liquid, but I just cannot pick 100 Thieves here, and that'll be the order there, guys. Fnatic, Invictus, followed by 100 Thieves, a lucky 3rd place, and then G-Rex I just think is the weakest team there. That's going to be my world pick and predictions. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I love reading comments, guys. I love learning more about the scene, what you guys think, what your picks were. Hope you guys all enjoy, though. Worlds does start tomorrow. We just broke it down here. We'll see exactly how well we do, and if I said anything wrong, or if I said anything way off, let me know in the comment section down below. If I'm stupid or not, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions down below. But that's the World Pick'em Challenge done. I cannot wait to see what happens come Wednesday, guys, because Worlds is now officially underway. But anyway, I'll see y'all next time, guys. More news coming out on the daily here at Esports Talk. As always, my name is Jake, and I'll see you then.